So the other type of recurrence relation is one where you need to have two assumptions. So in that previous one, we had to just assume it was true for n equals k. This one we're going to have to do a couple of assumptions. So in this question, it says that a sequence of numbers is defined by u1 is 1, u2 is 5, and then this time we've got u of n plus 2 equals 5 u of n plus 1 minus 6 u of n, and it's saying that n are natural numbers greater than or equal to 1. Prove by induction that for n as a member of the positive integers, un equals 3 to the power of n minus 2 to the power of n. So all of this information that we've got up here is our recurrence relation. And we've also said that that is like a term-to-term kind of rule, because you're defining one term in terms of its previous term. And then this one that we've got down here is our traditional nth term, which is our position to term. So we're going to try and use the recurrence relation to prove the position to term relation. And this one I've said in the title that there need to be two assumptions. And actually we need to do two of quite a few of the things here. Because in order to use this formula, I need to use the previous term and the one before that. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to check that this thing here is true for n equals 1 and for n equals 2. Because if it's not true for both of those, the domino effect won't work. So you have to check that it's true for n equals 1 and n equals 2. And when you do the assumption stage, you're going to have to assume it's true for n equals k and n equals k plus 1, because the formula is defined in terms of both of those things. So more stuff needs to be shown to be true. So here I'm going to show that it's true for n equals 1. Well, u1 is 1, and also, here we go, this one here, u1 is going to be equal to 3 to the power of 1 minus 2 to the power of 1, which is 1. So it is true for n equals 1. This is the extra bit. I'm going to show that it's true for n equals 2. So they've told us that u2 is 5. And let's check that in the formula. It's going to be 3 squared minus 2 squared, which is 5. So it's true for n equals 2. Do you see why it has to be proven for both of them? Because you're using them both. So they both need to, you need to check they work, otherwise there's a hole in the logic. So we're going to assume that it's true for n equals k. In other words, uk is equal to 3 to the power of k minus 2 to the power of k, and n equals k plus 1. So u to the power of k plus 1 is equal to 3 to the power of k plus 1 minus 2 to the power of k plus 1. So we've done two assumptions, two of the base case as well. And now we're going to show that it's true for n equals k plus 2, because of how that term-to-term, that recurrence relationship is being defined. So I would still say what I'm aiming for, even though it's pretty obvious this time. My aim is that uk plus 2 is going to be 3 to the power of k plus 2 minus 2 to the power of k plus 2. Pretty obvious, though, just in case you had the one that was more complicated. So u to the power of k plus 2 is equal to 5 u to the power of k plus 1 minus 6 u to the power, not to the power of k, sorry, that shouldn't have been to the power of k plus 1, just uk plus 1 minus 6 uk. So let's just put all of these things in. It's going to be 5 lots of 3k plus 1 minus 2k plus 1 minus 6 lots of 3 to the power of k minus 2 to the power of k. So thinking about how this all expands, I've got 5 lots of 3 to the k plus 1 minus 6 lots of 3 to the power of k plus 1. So let's do that a little bit more slowly. 5 times 3 to the power of k plus 1 minus 6 times 3 to the power of k. Then I've got minus 10, not minus 10, minus 5 times 2 to the power of k plus 1 plus 6 times 2 to the power of k. What do you think we should do here?
So you would take out like a 3 from the 5 from that times it by the 5.
Yeah, so you're going to have a
And subtract.
15 times 3 to the power of k minus 6 times 3 to the power of k. Same thing, you'll take a 2 out, so it's going to be minus 10 times 2 to the power of k plus 6 times 2 to the power of k. That's meant to be a 6. It's a rather strange looking 6. And so what we end up with is 9 times 3 to the power of k minus 4 times 2 to the power of k. 9 is 3 squared, so it's 3 to the power of k plus 2. And 4 is 2 squared, so it's 2 to the power of k plus 2. Hence, it is true for n equals k plus 2. And so our conclusion statement is going to be a little bit longer this time, because we need to say since true for n equals 1 and n equals 2, and true for n equals k plus 2, when assumed true for n equals k plus 1 and n equals k, true for all n as member of the positive integers.
So they just put this as an exam question?
They just put this as an exam question, and you've got the textbook there right in front of you. There is not a single question like this in the textbook. And I just need to say, it wasn't in like an official exam that was sat by thousands of pupils. What the exam board do is every year they usually make like a set of mock exams that schools can use, particularly because it's the start of this qualification. There wasn't many exams there. And so they put this in, and loads of teachers emailed edXL and said, like, is this meant to be in there? And they came back and said, yes, this is meant to be in there. So that's why I've gone back to one of the old textbooks, and I've actually got these questions. This used to be in a module called FP1, and this was it's a year 1 further maths topic. So I've got these questions here that you can have a go at doing. The good thing about these questions, you don't need a mark scheme because you've proven that it's right. So we've got 8 questions here on recurrence relations. You'll notice that the first 4 questions are ones that are going to just have one assumption, and then the next 4 have 2 assumptions. What's the main way that you can tell there's going to be the 2 assumptions?
There's u1 equals something and u2 equals something.
Yeah, you've got 2 starting points, and the formula is defined in terms of 2 previous terms. So you've got a few more things going on. And interestingly, all of the formulae pretty much have got n in the power. So like these are usually sequences that are like sort of geometric in some kind of sense because they're multiplying by something each time you go across, but obviously it's not directly a geometric sequence. Geometric is where there would always be a common ratio. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. I wanted to add this in, even if this never comes up in the exam again because they've decided that it was the wrong thing to do. There's nothing, there's nothing wildly different about this, but it just shows you that you can use proof by induction outside of matrices, series, and what was the other one we did? Divisibility. That you can use it for loads and loads and loads of things. I just don't want you to think it's just for those 3 topics. Here's an example of a 4th topic, and it can be used for like many, many, many kinds of things as well. It's a very powerful proof tool that there is. Okay? So we're just going to do some practice. You can just try some of these.